$300,000 more in just 25 years. That's what you could have by renting instead of buying. Here's the math that real estate agents don't want you to know. Look, I know that sounds crazy. Your parents probably told you that renting is like throwing money away, right? I heard it too. But after spending hundreds of hours analyzing this decision, crunching the numbers, comparing the returns, what I found completely changed my thinking. And today I'm going to show you the actual data, not just opinions. Not what your uncle told you. Real numbers that are behind both strategies. Because this might be the biggest financial decision in your life, and most people get it completely wrong. So if you're trying to figure out your housing situation, stay with me. Let's start with what everybody believes. Renting is throwing money away. You've heard it your whole life. Pay rent, you're making somebody else rich. Pay a mortgage, you're building your own wealth. Sounds pretty simple, right? Except it's not. And here's why. This argument completely ignores something critical. Every dollar that you spend on down payment, that's money that you can invest. And every dollar that you spend on property tax, insurance, maintenance, repairs, that money could be growing in the market. Have you ever felt this pressure? The guilt that you pay rent while your friends are buying houses? I get it. I've been there. But before you make a decision based on what society tells you, let me show you something that might shock you. From 1992 to 2024, that's over 30 years of data, the S&P 500 has returned 10.4% per year on average. Real estate, only 5.5%. That's nearly double the return for stocks. But wait, it gets even more dramatic. And this pattern holds no matter how far back we look. The inflation-adjusted return of home prices was just 0.4% per year. 0.4%. Basically, housing kept pace with inflation, but didn't actually grow your wealth beyond that. And when you look at even longer periods, a dollar invested in stocks in 1945 is worth nearly 50 times more today than the same dollar invested in real estate. But wait, before you think I'm cherry-picking data from different eras, let me show you a real-world example from here in Canada using recent numbers. And this one is just going to blow your mind. Person A rents for $2,000 a month. They take what would have been their down payment, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, all those extra costs of ownership, and they invest it consistently in the stock market. But person B buys a home. Same starting point, same income, just different strategies. And fast forward in 25 years, the renter who invested has $2 million in their portfolio. And the homeowner has $1.5 million in home equity. That's $500,000 more for the renter who invested. That's $500,000. Now you're thinking, okay, there's got to be a catch. And you're right, there is one. You actually have to invest the difference. You can't rent a cheap place and then blow that extra money on lifestyle upgrades. The strategy only works if you have the discipline to consistently put that money into the market, month after month, year after year. If you're finding this valuable so far, do me a favor. Hit that like button because it actually helps reach more people who need to see these numbers. Alright, let's talk about something real estate agents conveniently forget to mention. The true cost of owning a home. Most people only think about the mortgage payment, but that is just the beginning. There's property tax, which is $1,000 a year, home insurance, which is $1,000 to $3,000 annually. Maintenance and repairs is about 1 to 2% of your home value annually. And that's about like $5,000 to $10,000 a year on a $500,000 home. And then there's realtor commissions when you sell, which is 4 to 7% of your home value. On a $500,000 home, that's $20,000 to $30,000 just to sell. And then there's closing costs, legal fees, land transfer tax, and home inspections. Okay, the next part is crucial. As a renter, your landlord handles all the surprises. If there's a ceiling leak, it's not your $3,000 problem. If your heater dies, that's not your $8,000 emergency. And a roof replacement, that could be $20,000 nightmare. You know exactly what your monthly cost is, and that's it. And every dollar you save beyond rent, that could be reckoning towards your market. But here's the important thing. Home ownership has a powerful advantage that goes beyond the math. Now I know what you're thinking. This guy is completely against home ownership, right? Well, not at all. Let me show you the other side. Because buying has some serious advantages that you cannot ignore. First is forced savings. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, most people, and this may be you, aren't really disciplined enough to consistently invest every month. Life happens, expenses comes up. That investment money ends up going to restaurants, trips, and random stuff. But a mortgage, you actually have to pay for it. It is forced savings. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they need to build wealth. No discipline required. Second, rent protection. Picture this with me. Even if your rent only goes up 2.5% per year, in 20 years, your $2,000 rent becomes $3,000. Meanwhile, your friend with a 5-year fixed mortgage keeps renewing at a manageable rate. And eventually, zero housing costs when it's all paid off. Third, imagine you're 65, retired, walking through your home. No landlord, no rent increase, no worry about being forced to move because the owner wants to sell it. That's complete security. Can you put a price on that peace of mind? Fourth, leverage. Where else can you control a $5,000 asset with just $50,000 down? If that property appreciates 20% to $600,000, that's $100,000 gain in your $50,000 down payment. That's a 200% return in your initial investment. That's power of leverage. And finally, you can renovate. You can paint the walls any color, get that dog that you always wanted, put down the roots, build a life. There's real value in that sense of home ownership. The truth is, this isn't about which strategy mathematically wins. It's about which one you actually stick with. Alright, decision time. Here are the critical factors you need to honestly evaluate for your situation. Time horizon. Be real with yourself. Are you staying put for another 5 to 7 years? If yes, buying starts to make sense because you have the time to absorb transaction costs and build equity. If you might be moving for work and you're not sure, renting gives you the flexibility without losing money to realtor fees and closing costs. Your location also matters. Right now in late 2025, data shows that 9 out of 10 Canadian provinces, buying beats renting in over 10 years. But in expensive urban markets like Vancouver, Toronto, and other high-cost cities, the math can be very different. In those markets, renting and investing might actually come out ahead. Where are you looking to live? Current market conditions as of October 2025, mortgage rate for 5-year fixed terms are around 4.25% to 6.75%, higher than average a few years ago, but lower than 2023 peaks. Home prices are also down 4% from 2022. Salaries have increased about 12%. Rents have dropped about 3% nationally. What does that mean? It might actually be a better time for you to buy now than it was in 2022, when everybody was panicking to buy at peak prices. And your discipline level, and this is a big one. If you rent, will you actually invest the difference every single month through markets up and downs? Or will the money just disappear in your lifestyle? Because if you won't invest it consistently, all those superior stock market returns don't matter. You just end up with nothing while your homeowner friends have equity. And your career path. If your job might relocate you or value career mobility, renting is your friend. Do you value stability, customization, or putting down roots? Or do you value flexibility, liquidity, and freedom to move? Comment below right now. Are you wanting to rent and invest? or do you want to own a home? There's no universal right answer here, but it all depends on your timeline, your locations, market conditions, and your investment discipline, and what truly matters for your lifestyle and financial goals. The most important thing is, make your own informed decision based on your situation, not what your friends or parents tell you, or what society expects. What actually makes sense for your life and your goals? So here is what I want you to do next. First, take some time to honestly evaluate the 6 factors I mentioned. Write them down, be real with yourself. If this video helped you think through this decision differently, smash the like button and share with somebody who's trying to figure this out right now. This information needs to get to more people. And third, don't stop learning here. Understanding renting versus buying is just step 1. I've got more content coming up in investment strategies, wealth building, and smart money decisions, especially for you. Hit subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of those videos.